Hello everyone, welcome to Divine Coaching Classes. Today we are going to study about a topic sectors of Indian economy. आज हमें sectors of Indian economy विषय किसी आज हमें discussion करेंगे. So before we are going to discuss about sectors of Indian economy, first of all we know a little bit something about Indian economy system. Indian economy is currently world's fastest growing major economy. वर्ल्ड रे जेते सब देश अच्छी ताकर इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम जब देखा तो ता भितर इंडियन इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम इज द फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम. देन इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज ए डेवलपिंग एंड मिक्स्ड मार्केट सिस्टम. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ डेवलपिंग एंड डेवलप्ड? Developing means India is trying or India is continuously developing to achieve the developed country. For example, if America, Rus, they are the developed country, but India is a developing country. India is trying to be developed. Developed हवा पे चेष्टा करूँची, but currently India is a developing country. And mixed market system. Mixed market system means where capitalism and socialism. Mixed market system means where capitalism and socialism both are connected to the market system of the India. And then India is the sixth largest economy in the world. World ro sixth largest economy system होचे India. देखिए आप पूर्व India fourth largest economy of the world थिला किंतु एबे now currently India is the sixth largest economy in the world. Then the sectors of Indian economy is divided into different types of categories. But here we are discussing about the three major sectors of Indian economy: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. But तुम पे मुझे sectors of Indian economy केते प्रकार category divide करा है मुझे तो माना को एठी already लिखी देछि तो मु कहि देबी केता टाइप्स रो अछि. But we are discussing only about the three major sectors of the Indian economy: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. On the basis of the activity nature, our Indian economic sector is divided into 5 different categories. One is primary sector, then secondary sector, then tertiary sector, then quaternary sector and quinary sector. On the basis of activity nature, India रो sectors को, India economy sectors को 5 भाग में विभक्त करा है. पढ़ला primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, quaternary sector and quinary sector. Similarly, on the basis of the work, the Indian economic sector is divided into 2 categories. That is organized sector and unorganized sector. Similarly, on the basis of the assets ownership, Indian economic sector is divided into 2 categories. That is public sector and private sector. So these are the different sectors of Indian economy. But here we are only discussing about the 3 major sectors of Indian economy: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Okay, तुम मैंने आपको लिखी नियो. There are different sectors of Indian economy we are discussed. मु तमन को पूर्व लिखिथि बोर्ड रे लिखिथि different types of sectors of Indian economy: public sector, private sector, organized, unorganized, primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, quinary, so लिखिथि. But here we are only discussing about the 3 major sectors of Indian economy, that is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So here the Indian economy is broadly classified into 3 core sectors based on the nature of economic activity. According to the economic activity, here we are discussing about only the 3 major sectors of Indian economy, that is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So what is primary sector? Primary sector means agriculture and raw material extraction. Primary sector is simply known as agriculture and raw material extraction is also known as your primary sector. Then the secondary sector means manufacturing and industry, or it is also called as industrial sector. सेकेंडरी सेक्टर को आम इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर भी कहीपर. Then the third is tertiary sector, is also known as the services which provide service to primary and secondary sectors, and thus the tertiary sector is also called as the service sector. Okay, so ये थिला कोन ना प्राइमरी सेक्टर, सेकेंडरी सेक्टर एंड टर्शियरी सेक्टर विषय में तुमको खाली जस्ट खाली टिके इंट्रोडक्शन दे देली. देन वी आर डिस्कसिंग ब्रीफली अबाउट व्हाट इज प्राइमरी सेक्टर, व्हाट इज सेकेंडरी सेक्टर एंड व्हाट इज टर्शियरी सेक्टर. ओके, लेकिन आप so now let us discuss about primary sectors as primary sector of Indian economy. So what is primary sector? Activities are undertaken by directly using natural resources are known as primary sectors. So से कौन कहूँ ना जो एक्टिविटी रे बा जो काम रे आमे नेचुरल रिसोर्सेस को डायरेक्टली यूज करछे ताका हम कहूँ प्राइमरी सेक्टर. फॉर एग्जांपल एग्रीकल्चर. In agriculture, we need land and water, and these land and water are provided by the nature. They are called natural resources. So, any type of activity where we are using the natural resources directly, that is known as your primary sector. Examples: agriculture, mining, fishing, forestry, dairy, and etc. So then the next point is, the people who are engaged in these primary sectors are called red collar workers. जो लोक माने प्राइमरी सेक्टर एक्टिविटी काम करछन ताका हम कहू रेड कलर वर्कर्स. व्हाई दे आर कॉल्ड रेड कलर वर्कर्स? बिकॉज़ अकॉर्डिंग टू द नेचर ऑफ देयर वर्क, बिकॉज़ दे आर डूइंग देयर वर्क इन आउटसाइड, so that's why they are called red collar workers. Then primary sector contributes 16 to 18% of India's total GDP. GDP means gross domestic product. प्राइमरी सेक्टर इंडिया रो टोटल जीडीपी रो 16 to 18% कंट्रीब्यूट करे. देन आउ कोन कंट्रीब्यूट करे ना 40% ऑफ इंडियाज टोटल वर्कफोर्स. 40% ऑफ इंडियाज टोटल वर्कफोर्स आर एंगेज्ड इन दिस प्राइमरी सेक्टर. इफ वी टेक द वर्कफोर्स इज 100%, जदि हमें इंडिया रो वर्कफोर्स को 100% बोल नबा, तबे 100% रु 40% people are engaged in this primary sector activity. Primary sector activity रे 40% people are doing these activities, are engaged in this sector's activity. Okay, लेवल लिखियो. So now let us discuss about secondary sector. Secondary sector of Indian economy. So what is secondary sector of Indian economy? It tells us that the industries where finished products are made from natural materials producing in primary sector. Means the secondary sector is also called as industrial sector. That means it is a sector where the products which is produced by the primary sectors are used here and create finished product. That is called secondary sector activity by India's secondary sector economic activities. That means से कहूँ प्राइमरी सेक्टर रे जो प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस करा जाइतला ताको यूज करिकी जदि आमे किछि फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट बनै परछे जो इंडस्ट्री ताका हम कहूचे सेकेंडरी सेक्टर्स बल ताका हम कहूचे. फॉर एग्जांपल द मेकिंग ऑफ फ्लोर, वी आर यूजिंग व्हीट. Wheat is the primary sector's finished product, but in the flour making industry, wheat is the raw materials for this industry. So by using the wheat, we make flour. गहम को यूज करिकी जदि हम आटा बनाउछे तबे गहम होची प्राइमरी सेक्टर्स रो फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट, किंतु गहम होची इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर पई रॉ मटेरियल्स. जे कंपनी हमर आटा बनाउची अटा बनैबा कंपनी पे गहम होची कोन द प्राइमरी सेक्टर्स रो फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट जोटा कि येठी रॉ मटेरियल्स टाइप रो यूज करछि. तो सेति पे से लिखला कोन ना द इंडस्ट्रीज वेयर फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट्स आर मेड फ्रॉम नेचुरल मटेरियल्स प्रोड्यूसिंग इन प्राइमरी सेक्टर्स. तो जे प्राइमरी सेक्टर्स रे जेउ प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस करा जाइतला ताकू व्यवहार करके जदि हमें किछि न्यू फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट बनै पारुछे तबे ताका हम कहूचे जोटी बना जाई पारुछे ताका हम कहूचे सेकेंडरी सेक्टर बोले हम कहूचे. ଏବେ କହୁଥିଲି କ'ଣ ନା ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ୍ ଅଲସୋ କଲ୍ଡ ଏ ସେକେଣ୍ଡାରୀ ସେକ୍ଟର বা ইট ইজ অলসো কল্ড এ ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল সেক্টর আমি কହୁଛେ ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল সেক্টর বলে কହୁଛେ আমি ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল সেক্টর মানে সেকেন্ডারি সেক্টর ইজ অলসো নোন as industrial sector because all the types of industries are comes under this secondary economic sector. Then what are the examples? Na industrial production, cotton fabric, sugar cane productions. These are the examples of some simple examples of secondary sectors. Then it is also tells us that those people which are engaged in this secondary sector activities are known as collar workers. Okay, they are known as collar workers. In the primary sector, the people who are engaged in this primary sector activities, we call them red collar. But here we are simply the people who are engaged in secondary sector economic activities, they are known as collar workers. And then the next point is the secondary sector contributes 25 to 28% of India's total GDP. India's total GDP ର 25 to 28% GDP secondary sectors contribute करे. And also 22 to 25% people are engaged in this economic sectors activity. That means workforce engaged 22 to 25% people. That means जिते भी लोक आमर 100% लोक जब वर्कफोर्स से काम करछंती ता भितर 22 to 25% people are engaged in secondary sector economic activities. So these are the points of secondary sector. So outre कहि देखुची secondary sector कोन ना the industries where finished products are made from natural materials producing in primary sectors. Okay, that means the industries where we are using the products which are made by the primary sectors as raw materials and using these raw materials to make a new finished product, that is called secondary sectors or secondary sector of economic activities. And these are the points. It is also called as the industrial sector, and these are some of the examples of industrial production, cotton fabric, sugarcane productions. And also people engaged in this sector is called collar workers, and it is contributes 25 to 28% of India's total GDP, and the workforce engaged in secondary sector economic activities from 22% to 25%. Okay, I will लिखि दियो. Then we are going to discuss about the tertiary sectors. So now let us discuss about the tertiary sectors. The third most important sectors of our Indian economy is tertiary sector. So what is tertiary sector? It is a part of the economy that provides intangible services to people and business. Why? Because this tertiary sector is also called as service sector. आको हमें सर्विस सेक्टर बोली भी कहता. तो सेठी पई tertiary sector रा काम होची provide services to different types of peoples and business. It does not make any type of product. It does not make any type of physical goods or product. कौन सी प्रकार physical goods or any type of production activity रे tertiary sector रा कौन सी प्रकार काम किछि न था. ताल tertiary sector काम कोन ना tertiary sector provide services to primary sector and secondary sector. Primary sector and secondary sector को services provide करिवा काम होची tertiary sector रा काम. And this sector is also known as services sector. And so what are the examples of tertiary sectors? Tertiary examples कोन कोन परिबो ना banking, insurance, education, hospitality, logistics, railway. So these are the some examples of tertiary sectors which provide services. Then it provides services to both primary sectors and secondary sectors. एबे कहली tertiary sector का काम कोन ना tertiary sector काम होची primary sector and secondary sector को service provide करबा काम होची tertiary sector रा काम. Then the people who are engaged in these sectors are called white collar jobs. White collar jobs. The people who are engaged in this activity are called white collar jobs. Why they are called white collar jobs? Because professional and educated workers in office positions. In tertiary sectors, those who are working दे आर वेरी प्रोफेशनल एंड एजुकेटेड वर्कर्स इन ऑफिस पोजीशन से केवल ऑफिस पोजीशन में रही कौन करती काम करती सो दैट्स व्हाई दे आर कॉल्ड व्हाइट कलर जॉब्स देन इन आवर इंडियन इकोनॉमी tertiary sector contributes 52 to 55% of total GDP. इंडिया रो जीडीपी रो 52 to 55% tertiary sector ही प्रोवाइड करता है तो tertiary sector सब मैक्सिमम जीडीपी क्रिएट करता है इंडिया जीडीपी रो 52 to 55% जीडीपी was created by tertiary sector. Then the total workforce engaged in these sectors are 30 to 33%. India total workforce ro 30 to 33% people are engaged in this tertiary sector activities. So that is known as a tertiary sector. Okay, but these are also known as service sector. Okay, आउथरे कहि दोची tertiary sectors रो काम होची to provide services to primary and secondary sector. That's why it is called your service sector. It does not produce any type of physical goods. It is only providing the services. Then examples are banking, insurance, education, hospitality, railway, logistics. These are the examples of the tertiary sectors. The peoples who are engaged in these tertiary sectors are known as white collar jobs. Why they are called white collar jobs? Because the most professional and educated workers are worked in these sectors in office. So that's why they are called white collar jobs. India total GDP ro 52 to 55% GDP tertiary sector ही contribute करते हैं. India total workforce ro 30 to 33% peoples are engaged in this tertiary sectors economic activity. So this is your tertiary sectors of Indian economy. Okay, अब तुम लिखिनियो आउ तुम मन पई क्वेश्चन होची इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज कम्स अंडर व्हिच सेक्टर ऑफ इंडियन इकोनॉमी. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज कम्स अंडर व्हिच सेक्टर्स ऑफ इंडियन इकोनॉमी तुम कमेंट जनइबो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी हमरो इंडिया इकोनॉमी रो को सेक्टर रे आसीबो. ओके